I can't live my life, expect myself to be happy, and continue to clock in every single day at a 9 to 5 forever. And I've worked tons of different 9 to 5 jobs before. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been through the ringer. I worked at Albertsons, I was a busser, I was a server, I was a chef even at all three different restaurants. I worked as a mechanic at a Jiffy Lube, changing oil every day. I was a UPS helper. I worked at Taco Bell. I worked at an internet retail store where we sell cell phones. I also had a tech sales job where I was making six figures, and that one I actually just quit 2 months ago. All of these jobs have many things in common. I have never stayed at a job longer than 5 months because eventually it all starts feeling the same. I think most people can agree that the first couple of months that you're at a new job, it feels really fresh. You're learning all of the information, you're doing a lot of training. It's not a lot of work, it's pretty simple. And because it's something that's new, it's not bad. Out of all of these jobs I've had, I don't think I've ever had a bad experience the first month because it's just getting to know everyone, it's learning how to do the job, a lot of training, and it's just something new. Unfortunately, over time, this new fresh feeling starts to wear off and you get into this point where it just feels super monotonous. You start feeling like a robot. I always catch myself before I fully get into this autopilot mode where you're waking up at the same time every day, going to sleep at the same time every day. Your whole life is revolved around this job, which leads me to the first thing that I would like to talk about of why I can't work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. There's a lot of things that I want in life. One of them is just having a family. Now, growing up with a dad that was a workaholic, I barely got to see him. I would come home from school every day, and he would come home at like 6 or 7 p.m. He would be super tired, and we almost essentially would never see him. I don't want to bring that same experience to my family, my kids, whenever I have them in the future. I want to be around my kids' life. Having a 9 to 5 like this won't allow me to do that. All that's going to do is provide the same childhood that I had to my kid, which is what I want to avoid. Because pretty much your whole life revolves around this 9 to 5, if you don't go to the job, how are you going to pay the bills? You're going to miss out on a lot of things that you'll eventually regret. Spending time with family, you can't travel, or maybe even just getting to travel once a year. Like, that's not fun. There's been so many moments where I've missed out on family events, gatherings, things that I want to do, events, festivals, anything, you name it, because of work. Even things like traveling. How am I supposed to just get a week off when I maybe can only get that once a year? I would have to quit or find something else. Like, it just feels like you're strapped down. You can't do the things that you want to do. At a traditional job, it's really hard to make more money. Promotions are rare. The only time you may get more money is from bonuses or overtime, which means you're just spending more time there. Unfortunately, one of my favorite hobbies is cars, and it has to be one of the most expensive hobbies. So for me to actually enjoy my hobby, I can't survive off of a 9 to 5 salary. I didn't go to school. I don't really have any technical skills. So how am I supposed to do the things that I want in life, like travel, buy cars, build them, race them, break them, making $5,000 a month? The thing is, too, with an income ceiling and the lack of freedom, it makes it harder to give back, which I've always personally enjoyed, just helping people out in even the smallest way possible. And of course, it's still possible with a 9 to 5, but when you're not strapped down and you have more income, you're able to help more people out. The third thing is humans are such unique and special animals. We really are. Like, we have the ability to create like work of art, like music, writing, show off your creativity in any way possible. I've never been like an artist per se, but one of the ways that I'm able to do that is through cars, and it's a way for me to express myself. I can't do that. Not only that, but having this 9 to 5 kind of traps you in this box where you're unable to have your own thoughts. A lot of the times you're just going in and you're just listening to whatever the higher up says. These businesses and companies, they already have decisions and processes in place, and all you have to do is conform to them. There's no room for you to give your opinion because chances are that they implement anything that you say are very low. Eventually you lose that creative bone in your body and you lose the ability to think for yourself when every single day you're just being told what to do and you do it. It just creates this weird dynamic where you feel underused and you're not living up to your full potential. Eventually you just get to this point where you start lacking purpose. Life starts to feel a little bit meaningless. You really start feeling like a robot. To me, it just feels like life is more than just going in and collecting the paycheck. Another thing that having a 9 to 5 makes really difficult is financial freedom. When I was working 9 to 5, I always felt dependent on the paycheck, waiting for the Friday morning where I would get the direct deposit so I could buy whatever I wanted. Not only did it come with a ton of anxiety, but you just start building up this dependence on this. When you have a 9 to 5, usually there's only one source of income, like one income stream. Whereas when you're an entrepreneur, you hear about these people that have like 10 different income sources. So you're not relying on one thing. It removes the anxiety and dependency on this one thing. Before I log out of this world, I want to leave some sort of legacy. I want to be able to say that I've changed lives, I've helped people out. That's pretty hard. It makes it a lot harder to do with a 9 to 5. What can you say if you worked a 9 to 5 all your life? I helped Jeff Bezos get another $1 trillion? Like, no. While I was working at these 9 to 5s, I always felt physically and mentally drained. Like, I would get home from work so many days and not want to do anything. I would avoid hanging out with friends. I would maybe watch one episode of TV, eat dinner, and then I have to get ready for bed for the next day. Just doing that on repeat over and over and over, you just start to get drained. I don't know how people deal with it, but it's not something that I can do for the rest of my life. I need to figure out some way to escape this and figure out how I can eliminate all of the things that I just talked about. I'm going to have to get another 9 to 5 here pretty soon, which is okay, but I'm working on escaping it. I've just been looking at it like 9 to 5 will create my foundation. I'll be able to pay my bills and survive, but it's not going to be the thing that I rely on for the rest of my life.